Hi guys, welcome back to the garage. Apologies if there's a bit of wind noise and things in the background. It's quite stormy out there today and very dark in here. Quick update on the 550. It's now come off the road for the winter. I continue to ride it about with the exhaust with a hole in it. Didn't seem to make much noise, to be honest, so I just left it. I haven't done that yet. It's on the list. But some other things have come to my notice having ridden it about. So we'll start with the engine. The idle has always been a little high and it increases when warm. There's no air leaks or anything. I checked that. And if you try and knock the idle down, it cuts out, which makes me suspect there's a problem somewhere in the idle circuit. And also, one of the carbs, the float needle, is a little bit intermittent. I came into the garage one day and smelt a bit of petrol, and it's flowing out of one of the carb overflows. That situation hasn't been helped by the fact that even when the petrol tap is turned off, there is a tiny drip. So I thought, no problem, I will get a tap kit, rebuild it, end the problem. Unfortunately, this model year, and I think maybe the one before, has a peculiar sized tap. It has a larger sized nut than the ones that came later. It's a twin outlet tap, and I can't find a kit anywhere. In fact, I can't find a tap anywhere, never mind a kit. I'm hoping that when the float needles are done, the tiny amount of drip won't cause any problems. We shall see. Otherwise, it runs and rides fine. Slightly rougher at the top end than I was expecting for a Honda, but that could also be connected to the carburetors. If they're not flowing properly, that will create an imbalance, etc., etc. So they're going to have to come off and be cleaned. A job I didn't want to do. I was hoping that one of my classic vehicles didn't need a car bloody strip and clean. But anyway, there you go. They all do, it would appear nowadays. Whoever had this bike before me must have been quite heavy, because they had the rear shocks, which are non-standard, jacked right up, and they appear quite stiffly sprung. I've knocked them back one notch and it's slightly better. I might knock them back another one. And in the front forks, I've got very limited movement. It's like they've got very heavy forecoil in, so they're going to have the forecoil changed to try and get some sort of smooth suspension going on. Now that then ties in to the other problem, I imagine, which is the bike tends to drop into corners. It goes round them all right, it's not a problem, it doesn't squirm or anything like that. It's just that initial movement, it seems to want to drop. Now when I got it, I checked the steering head bearings for play, and there was no play, so that was all good as far as I was concerned. However, once I realised it was dropping in, I went back to them straight away, because they are the most likely candidate, I think. And there is a slight notch in the straight head position, very slight, and I suspect it would probably be slightly more, and somebody's wound the adjuster down to try and compensate, making it all a bit tight. So they're going to have to come out, and I'll probably fit a set tape of rollers. And then the final thing, which also seems to contribute to this, is the tyres I mentioned were cheap. They're not old, but they're cheap. I think they're Chinese from memory. And I suspect they're not helping either when it comes to the initial transition from upright into lean. I'll leave them until I've done the steering head bearings and the suspension and see how that works out. So basically what's coming out with the 550 is a front end strip, forks, steering head bearings, and then a carburetor strip clean, and I'll just have to replace whatever I find when I find it. And then the final thing is the speedo doesn't work properly. It basically has a mind of its own. Sometimes it appears to start to work and then it slows down. Erratic and slow, basically. I suspect it's just gummed up, and the odometer also becomes slow. So I think the head is gummed up. The rev count is fine. So I'm going to have to try and take that apart and clean it out and see if I can improve that. Not a job I'm looking forward to, because bezels which holds the two halves together are notoriously bad, and I haven't been able to find any of them yet either. They were on sale in America, but it's very, very expensive getting stuff sent over here now. Well, it always was from America. So that just leaves the exhaust really. I will do it. It's not too noisy. If it becomes antisocially noisy, I will obviously do it, but until then it'll have to wait. So there you go, that's what's coming up on the 550. So just thought I'd keep you up to date, because this is going to start very soon. The 2CV, which you will be waiting for the next episode for, I haven't touched in a month due to various issues. There's very little I need to do to finish it, so that should be with you very, very soon. So there we go. Oh, and I'm waiting for someone to ring me back about another project. So there's going to be plenty going on. So see you soon.